It's holiday time again, folks, and here we are with another 19XX. As always, it's the Total Geeks Live crew. It's me, Guy, Baltimore, Kaiser, and Danny, and we're talking about that beloved Christmas special, Gremlins, 1984. If you've ever wondered how the PG-13 rating came about, well, this is one of those reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Spielberg.
That and Temple of Doom.
Yep.
Oh, it's heart-rending fun.
Oh, yes.
It's like, but if it's rated R, nobody will watch it.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they'll lose ticket sales.
It's funny because I watched that earlier this week, and I was like, damn, how could they make this a PG movie? There's a couple scenes in there, especially like towards the end, where the violence just ramps up. And it's not even like cute haha violence. It's like...
No, like the imagery of Spike melting
Yeah,
is
he's like,
on par with any horror movie ever made. The grotesqueness of that scene.
Oh, that's just nasty.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
I wonder how they, like, what is the cutoff for the ratings? Like,
Well,
you go right level.
Parental guidance was a lot different back then than it is today.
That is true.
So, I was
And
just,
they weren't humans.
right. They were little puppets.
Yeah, so that allows them to take it down a notch. What'd you call me?
Shut your mouth.
Oh, okay.
Not
Because, yeah, if you look around the whole time frame, it's like, yeah, Gremlins, Indiana Jones, even Poltergeist 2 years before, that's all PG, and yeah, Poltergeist is still nightmare fuel, and Indy's like, my God, on the gore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's like, yeah, we need something in between. This isn't quite R, but yeah, this is what gives kids nightmares. But here, buy our Gizmo doll. So they pimped those out back then for
He's
sure.
cute and fluffy.
I had my Gizmo doll and my lunchbox, and I did not have the Barbie dream car for him to drive around in.
You just had that for you.
Yes, that was for me. I was not for Gizmo.
You had a Power Wheels one?
Yes.
priorities.
Beep, beep.
All right, so you want to watch the trailer? I'll pull up the trailer here, and we
Yes,
We can-
let's refresh.
refresh and reminisce. And I mean, it's a classic '80s trailer. I love these things. They're just fun to rewatch, anyways. All right, so I'm gonna hit play in 5, 4, 3, 2, now.
That's not a number.
It is 2.
Steven Spielberg presents
Two.
Gremlins.
See, it's that old guy, the old grandpa.
Billy Meltzer has a nice home.
What a nice home.
Billy,
What's
With that.
you?
That was
Come on,
beautifully timed, by
A
the
nice
way.
job.
I just have to give you that.
A nice girl.
What a
If you're not
putz.
doing anything this Thursday night, maybe you'd like to
Yeah.
go out on a date with me?
I'd love to.
Makes them
And
chill.
loving parents who are about
Wait,
to
is
give
that
them
a thing now? or-
No, don't shake it. We're gonna have to open it now. It won't wait till Christmas.
the most
Now you made a
unusual
movie.
gift he ever got.
What is it?
It's your new pet.
Come on, Barney, be a good
That dog is the
My
best
dad
actor
gave
in
it
this movie.
Yes.
But there are a few things to keep in mind. If you expose it to the light, you may hurt it. If you get it wet, it will multiply.
All that from water? They got wet?
Yeah, plain water.
And most important, no matter how much they beg,
Being pissed on
Never.
itself and
never let them eat after midnight. Because when they do,
That's Emperor
they
Palpatine.
change. They become clever, mischievous,
What's going on here?
Yeah, that's
and dangerous.
right?
Gremlins, huh? Little monsters.
Right.
There's a lot of
Hundreds of them.
yeah. The cops are
I don't know,
hammered.
maybe thousands.
Oh yeah. We're drinking spiked eggnog.
Billy, what are these things? Where do they
But,
come from?
like,
Look, I
considering
know
how
it
small
sounds
the
crazy,
town
I
is, can
know.
you blame
But in a
them?
few hours,
Right.
you're gonna have a major disaster on your hands.
I love that
Gremlins, directed by Joe Dante. They'll be expecting you.
Kathleen Kennedy.
And that was something that I didn't realize, that I had grown up thinking Spielberg directed this when Joe Dante actually directed it. Um,
Yeah,
I
it was just a
it was
Spielberg
just
presents. He said it.
presents. Yeah, he was executive producer of it, but this is really the
like,
work of somebody else. Um,
like Back to the Future.
mm-hmm.
Spielberg was involved with that.
Right.
Freakazoid,
Yeah, that was fun.
Animaniacs.
All right, so let's talk about it.
I just absolutely love the wall wheelchair thing going up. That lady zoom up. It's such a I mean, I laughed my butt off in the theater.
I forgot about that part.
So funny.
Because she really was awful.
Oh, she was horrible. Yeah. She had it coming. She deserved it. She deserved it.
Oh, absolutely. Because this is such an interesting movie in the sense where you have all this horrific, awful crap going down from these little monsters that spawn by hundreds, thousands. They don't even let you know how many gremlins there really are after the pool thing. It's all set against this cute little postcard town that looks really small where they can walk everywhere. That's one thing. It's like, I can walk here, you can walk home, I can walk to work. It's like this town is so small that, they don't need cars. Cars are just a luxury option.
No, it was pretty much just the gazebo with the town square around it, and then everybody's houses were around that. And that was it.
The movie theater, Burger King, and Montgomery Ward.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a Burger King in it?
There was. I get that product placement in there somehow.
I know there was a movie theater because that's how they watched Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember there being a bar.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Dory's Tavern.
Yeah.
Police station for all the drinking.
Not the tavern, but the police station for all the drinking.
Yeah.
But at the heart of this, it's a Christmas movie. And that's why we're doing it here in December. Because Gizmo was a Christmas present. There are Christmas trees and Christmas decorations all throughout. I mean, this takes place on... Is it Christmas Eve or Christmas night that all the havoc breaks loose?
I think it's Christmas Eve. Because
it's
just before. Because I think Christmas is the next day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you have the lovely tale of Phoebe Cates' dad dying on Christmas Eve because he thought he could climb down the chimney like Santa, and they found him with the
dark part of the story.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those things is like when somebody says, "Oh, I don't want to talk about it," maybe you shouldn't push to find out why they don't want to talk about it, because then you might find out a story like this, It's like, why? Who hates Christmas? Why do you hate Christmas? Oh, let me tell you why I hate Christmas. It's like, okay.
We good,
Yep. They call that a bear trap.
Yeah.
And they made fun of that in the sequel too, because she started to go off on another tangent. It's like, no, let's not do this.
So we learned from our last time.
But yeah, it starts out. I mean, it looks just like a standard Christmas movie. I mean, Billy's dad brings home this Mogwai, this little teddy bear dog-looking thing, and it's cute. And you have your 3 rules to follow, and of course, despite best efforts, that doesn't work. And it still seems like a pretty cheerful, upbeat movie up until they eat at midnight. Well, there's the dog and the Christmas lights thing. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, they string the dog up on the front porch and the lights.
And then Mrs. Deagle point blank says that I'm going to kill your dog, and it's going to be slow and painful. That's in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Stomps into the bank.
She's real good people.
Yeah.
Right. No, she watched the old lady in The Wizard of Oz, and I'm going to get you and your little dog too, and said, how can I amp that up to 100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Handled it better than I would have.
Gizmo's cute. Everyone loves Gizmo.
Which I just found out that Howie Mandel was the voice of Gizmo, and then it's just like, well, duh, because it just sounds like Bobby from Bobby's World.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mogwai.
Right.
Yep.
Wonder how he
Yes.
came up with that. Wonder how many tries it took to get that voice.
Well, that was kind of a voice he's always done in his stand-up, isn't it? Maybe they just came to him and was like, hey, you could do an annoying high-pitched voice. What? Okay.
Because it's just basically a lot of chirps, and then he bounces out a word or two.
Mm-hmm. He does a cool little song. I like that when he plays the Casio keyboard and he like hum whistles this little song thing.
Yeah, because he has this weird ability to like multi-pitch a whistle because he's a magical little creature.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Natural.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I love the backstory of how they tie it to the old stories of like Gremlins in like World War II, and
Mm-hmm.
you know they've been around and mucking up machinery, and you know it was like, oh crap, you know they're real and this is them.
Right. This is their
But
it's
how
an origin story.
isn't Snow Wet?
Snow White. Oh, Snow
Snow
White.
White?
I thought you were talking
No,
about Snow White.
No, isn't
That's
the
another film.
snow that comes from the sky,
Yes.
isn't it wet? So shouldn't they have all been multiplying as they were running around outside?
Only if it was after midnight, right?
No.
wet's anytime.
Wet's anytime. What can happen
Anytime.
anytime? Yes, Kaiser, you
It's
are
the food
correct.
thing that's-
If they came into contact with snow, they should be like popping all over the place and multiplying like crazy. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I hate
Like-
this movie now.
Well, it's like the
unless
food thing.
unless it's because it has to be in a state of liquid water. If it's in a state of liquid, then that maybe chemically works with them. And since snow is more of a solid, maybe it doesn't have the same chemical reaction to them. I don't know. I mean, have we seen? Did they have a snowball fight? Do those gremlins like throw snowballs and anything?
I don't think they have a snowball fight. I think they're just running around tearing up traffic lights.
And
They're drinking beer.
They're drinking beer, so
and that's a liquid.
I guess it just has to be pure,
But
unfiltered
it has to be
water.
water, right? Now maybe it's spring water, Ozarka or something. I
No,
don't know.
because they jump into the pool at the Y, and that's chlorinated.
Okay, all right.
You can still drink it. I mean, if you're feeling ambitious.
And so they weren't building snowmen outside. There's none of that. Snow angels.
No, I don't think so.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's like I looked at the pool scene and it's like, you know what, that should have been worse off because you think about it, it's like 5 drops make the 5 evil Mogwai.
Right.
If you're in a completely submerged in a swimming pool, I mean that's constant contact with water. All the little extra ones that get constant, that should have been like millions. It should have been just total takeover.
Yeah.
Well, maybe because of the chlorine, it wasn't as effective.
Right. It's chemical stuff possibly. So yeah, you're right. Maybe the chlorine did kind of nullify or at least tone it down a little bit. Had it been just pure nothing but water, then it would have been something disastrous.
Yeah.
Like snow.
Yeah, right.
And-
like snow.
I mean, snow melts to water, so
Informa.
Movies and science in this episode.
Oh, not that snow. Sorry.
No, yeah. If they come into contact with that snow, I don't know what would happen.
Yeah, I don't know either. A new album, maybe?
Ugh.
Yeah. Oh. But they do a good job introducing the threat of the Gremlins, like the whole thing. Because I mean, even like watching it this time, it's like whatever Gizmo watches on TV, there's always like little hints that they drop that something's amiss, something's coming. You know, they're coming for you, sort of thing. And even like when like at the high school when they take it off to the high school teacher, is it just me or did they hire someone who kind of looked and kind of sounded like Billy D. Williams? It's like we can't get Billy D, but we're gonna get, you know, this guy who looks and sounds basically like Billy D. Williams.
It's Billy E.
Billy almost D. Williams. But yeah, it's like man, he's almost pulling it off. I was kind of getting that vibe from him. But even in the backgrounds, like the student film they're showing is all about metamorphosis, and
yeah.
that's when you realize things are bad and whatever's come out of these awful boogery cocoons is awful.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love how you mentioned what you see on the TV and how Gizmo pulls everything you see him watching.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he races the Barbie dream car.
Right.
He, you know, becomes Rambo.
Rambo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ah,
Rambo.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's that kitchen scene where Billy's mom has to fend off against that.
Oh, the microwave. And always, do they tell the tale in the movie? Because I always remember the urban legend of the dog in the microwave.
Or the hamster in the microwave. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was like a popular urban legend at the time, where sticking like a dog or a cat or a hamster. Don't do this, by the way, please. In the microwave, and you know, the gremlin that they stick in there just gets nasty. Well, it's the same thing about the gremlin that's in the blender.
Oh, you just see the feet spinning.
Green crap flying everywhere, and she's good. You know, mom's kicking
Billy's
butt.
Mom's a badass. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's like just killing them left and right. That scene was supposed to end darker than it did.
Oh, really?
I've read some of the earlier drafts. Basically, Billy gets home and he's looking for his mom. Her head rolls down the stairs and rests at his feet.
Oh no!
wow.
So they're like, yeah, we need to tone that back. And the same thing, they were gonna have the dog strangled by the Christmas lights, even when they were Mogwai. They're like, yeah, we need to tone some of this back. So
Yeah, because that would have been an R.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that definitely would have been an R rating. So they, those types of things would have gotten nowadays the PG rating or PG-13.
Oh yeah.
Rating, but had they
Today,
gone off the edge, yeah, it would have been an R.
Oh yeah. Crazy.
Did they drop an F-bomb in this movie?
No.
I didn't think so. Because I know that's one of the... You're allowed one F-bomb in a PG-13 movie.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't actually recall a lot of cussing in this.
Like hell or damn or something like
Yeah,
that.
but
That's about as far as they go.
yeah.
Fuck!
Gizmo's been watching cable.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Gremlins go ape shit all over the town. There, I put us up at PG-13. And I mean, they're like tearing up houses and attacking people, and it's at the same time like scary and funny, because it's like they're like putting sometimes goofy cartoon sound effects, with some of the stuff, but then at the same time they're like clawing people up.
Yeah, that whole...
It's a really cool dichotomy. Very, very like cutesy, funny, but also like super serious and pretty cool.
It's and that just the whole scene of them running amok through the town and the vignettes of just seeing what they're doing and what they're causing. It just borderlines horror and comedy the entire time.
Well,
Yeah.
the music helps it along too. That
It's so wacky. They are out there singing Christmas carols and that. To people.
Yeah, I grabbed that as one of the slideshow images. I love that. The three of them singing it. This is greatness. So I can't remember what was the culmination of it. Like, how did they defeat the Gremlins?
Well, they blew up most of them in the movie theater because they all were like watching.
They're all there.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs back
Okay.
when I got
No what?
Snow White and Snow Wet, the saucy version. But yeah, they're all watching this Disney film. That's probably, it's funny to say this, but it's probably the most you could ever see of Snow White at that time, because it still hadn't come out on like VHS at that point. So
Right.
It was in the Disney vaults.
yeah, the magic vault. But
Yeah, and then Spike escapes to the mall.
no, Montgomery Ward.
Montgomery Ward, that's right.
Yeah, a department store, and it was kind of fun because it's like all this 80s stuff, like Atari games, and, all these toys. And of course, you see like an ET toy in the stuffed animal aisle. They threw in a couple ET quotes in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the Gremlins says "phone home" as he's ripping out a telephone cord. So,
Well, even in like Goonies, Gremlins is referenced by Chump. So
Or
Yes,
the
right.
cops are like, "Are you calling about those little green
Little
guys?"
green guys again, right?
Hmm.
so it's kind of a cool little shared universe.
Yeah,
Exactly.
back
Force.
then, think about it, doing kind of shared universe stuff back in the 80s. We're here nowadays, it's happenstance, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's all passe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I've definitely got to watch it in the next couple of, sometime in the next couple of weeks, and
Hmm.
because it's been a while since I've watched this movie, but I remember always enjoying it and having a good time with it.
Yeah, it's one of those. If you're flipping the channels, if you still do that, and it's on, you stop and watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. I mean, they're having a good time being awful in this movie, and it's like even while they're doing all this stuff. I mean, Christmas is continually present throughout this entire film. There's everything they do, they're jacking with Christmas lights or presents or
Well, the whole catalyst was Billy's dad wanted to get him the perfect Christmas present,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
and in doing so, unleashes Armageddon on this small little town.
Oh, goodness. There was like a crazy lady gremlin, right?
Yes,
In
sort
the
of.
sequel.
In the sequel. Okay.
But there was one in the sequel for sure. But like after one of the Gremlins killed Mrs. Deagle, basically like dressed up in all her clothes.
That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one from
big-
the sequel always reminded me of the Muppet Janice.
Right?
Yeah, I can see that.
The big lips and
Yeah.
Yeah, Gremlins 2 was completely wacky in comparison to the first one. It was, man, they didn't break the fourth wall. They just drove a bulldozer through it.
Right.
I mean,
I have never seen Gremlins 2.
Oh, the new batch,
Really?
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
the new batch.
Wow.
I played the Sunsoft video game on the NES.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I know it exists. I know it's called the new batch. I know the cover is the back of a high back chair and like the gremlin like smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
uh,
never seen it though.
John,
Oh.
you see the face of your three fellow geeks?
Mhm.
These are the faces of judging you.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Yep. It's kind of sad that you haven't seen it. I mean, you've had
Fine.
many years.
Yeah.
Many
Wow.
years.
A few.
I just never got around to it. Okay.
Wow. I feel less bad for what was it that I didn't see that one time that you guys gave me crap for? Somehow I feel less bad about whatever that was.
Whatever it was. Yeah, whatever it was.
Whatever it was, it's not as heinous a crime as what you just said.
Right.
That's Gremlins too. It's not like I said I've never seen.
Godfather.
Yeah, Goonies.
It's the Citizen Kane of Gremlins sequel movies.
That's right.
Of the two.
There's only been two, but it's the Citizen Kane, damn it. And of course, being in the era that we're in, they're talking about either doing a reboot of it, which please no, or a sequel to it, which the sequel reboot thing, which I'd be more okay with if they got enough of the cast.
I
Did
think.
you go ahead?
No, I think a number 3 would be a lot better and more palatable than
A
new
full
Gremlins.
reboot. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Joe Dante, I think he did the second one as well. Just in case you didn't know that, John. But yeah, I think he didn't. I think as wacky as he made, he's like, yeah, I don't like it as much as the first one, so he wanted to, I guess, make this next one darker and scarier. It's like, I think the premise was if you have this cute little creature out there that makes these horrible, awful monsters, why are you keeping it alive?
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
There's a very, very well-made fan short, Gremlins. That
I've
was
seen it.
they've like basically marketed it and are like selling it like through the stores. Get your Mogwais and stuff. It's been capitalized, and
Mhm.
a delivery truck stops off like at a diner or something, and the batch in the back is bad, and they all turn to gremlins and like ransack this little diner. Very, very well done.
Yeah, it was actually all right.
And I can't find Gremlins 2 on Hulu or Netflix. Gremlin is on.
Yeah.
Gremlin singular.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
That could be a whole other thing.
That's a
not it.
knockoff kind of thing.
That's like a Mac
It's
and me
not
sort
an
of thing.
alien situation.
It's the Mac and me of Gremlin knockoffs.
Well, I don't think it'd be Mac and me.
Dear me.
But yeah, I think what we were talking about earlier, I think, Kaja, you brought it up, was the fact that, it was a violent film. It was a scary film in a lot of scenes with the Gremlins, but then you had all these toys, like, the stuffed Gremlins, and, I know they had, like, little PVC figures, and I think I had, like, those grow things you could throw in water. I think they had one for Gizmo,
yeah.
Spike. And, but yeah, I mean, there was a lot of Gremlins merchandise out there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And,
Yes, it was. I had a folder, a notebook with Gremlins on the front.
Oh, wow.
I think I had a pencil topper.
Yeah, I had the read-along tape and book. Yeah.
I think I did too.
I don't remember. I don't remember if I had any of that stuff.
It could be at the end, Danny.
Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, Gremlins still get some love from time to time. That Lego Dimensions game had a whole pack based off Gizmo and Stripe, and even got
right.
Howie Mandel and Frank Welker, who did Spike, who does voices for like everything animated.
Everything. Mm-hmm.
So they brought them back to do the voices for it, and so Gremlins
nice.
Lego. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't find Gremlins 2 anywhere. I'm gonna have just to watch a playthrough of Gremlins 2, the new batch on the NES. That's the closest I'm gonna get to watching it.
Maybe you could get someone to perform a puppet show for you.
Sure.
All right, have at it, guys. So there you go. That's basically the plot of Gremlins 2, and there's a girl gremlin. And the spider gremlin.
Did you ever see that Key and Peele skit on how they came up with the crazy gremlins, the gimmick gremlins that came in Gremlins 2?
No.
You have to watch Key and Peele's skit for all those nutty gremlins that they had. That's the funniest thing. And I think one of the creators said, yeah, that's kind of how it went down, too. So that's on YouTube. You can find that one.
Okay.
But yeah, that was some nutty crap.
Speaking of nutty crap, it's time to... I'm sorry. I was going to segue that, and then just my brain froze. That would have been a perfect segue into something.
No, it wouldn't. Not at all.
Okay.
But anyway, regardless of nutty craps, Gremlins 2 is definitely in there as a must-see Christmas film. If you're tired of all the sentiment of It's a Wonderful Life, A Miracle on 34th Street, and you need something more along the lines of like Die Hard, Gremlins is definitely the dark comedy Christmas route that you can take. And it's fun any time of the year, so don't just stick it to December.
That's right. Christmas in July.
It came out in July, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think
I think that's where Christmas in July came from. I think that's how it originated.
I think it came out around the time of either like Ghostbusters debuted that week as well. Yeah, I think it was Ghostbusters. So that was why don't we have movie release summers like this anymore?
Because the summer starts in March now.
Yeah, March and April. Mm-hmm.
And it plays on through till the Oscars
September.
or something.
Until Halloween.
Yeah, until October. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
This world is broken.
But
anyway.
Fix it.
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
Watch it.
Go watch it.
It has things that you'll like.
Don't bother with the sequel. Sequels, just
sure
watch
did.
Gremlins. Exactly. Meh.
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
All right. Well, on that note, happy holidays from yet another 19XX Holiday Edition. And as always, it's all Geek to us.
Bye.
Look, got your John Kaiser mug. I'm drinking out of Kaiser's head.
Oh, ho, 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 ho.